Hello. Awesome. Let's get started in a minute. All right. Let me go ahead and start recording. Oh, it was recording all over. Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our 113 burn down. So from this week, we go on to daily burn downs. I've linked the minutes in the chat and the usual disclaimer. This is being recorded and it'll go on to YouTube shortly after. So please be mindful of what you say. Cool. With that, let's get started. So the status for the release, I'm still keeping it at yellow, mainly because there are a few test failures that we are tracking. And there are about close to 9 to 10 PRs that are in the critical urgent list that are waiting to get merged. So tracking those few things, I'm still keeping the release at yellow, though barring any major surprises, we should be able to hit the deadline of December 3rd. We hit code freeze on Friday, and we built our first beta almost at midnight. So the bits have been given for testing. I know Kubernetes folks are using the tag release for their tests right now. Tide drained almost late Friday night. We didn't see any major issues there, but Cole could give an update in his section. We are looking to cut our next beta to this Wednesday. If most of the, this is dependent on the test failures as well. I would like to get those fixed so that our beta is closer to RC as much as possible. So I'll track this, and depending on when those fixes land, we could do the beta maybe early in the day, Wednesday, or maybe around 5 p.m. PST. I'll also follow up with Doug on his availability, but it's targeted for Wednesday, 11/21, 20, sorry. And what else? Docs and release notes and comms, just another standing call out. The enhancement sheet is now stable. All the 113 ones are listed there, and items that didn't make have been moved to 114. So just a call out to update your corresponding artifacts. And CI as such is looking good, but I'll let Josh do the update in his section. With that, if we don't have any other questions, we can quickly move on to individual updates. Cool. Cole, you're up first. Is he around?
Yeah, so code freeze went into effect on Friday. As I said, there was no issues with that, and the merge pool is drained. So test info status is green. I don't think there's anything else to update there.
Cool. Yeah, thanks for keeping an eye out on all those PRs Friday and then adjusting the labels. That was super helpful.
Problem.
Yeah. Enhancements. Kendrick?
Kendrick had a conflict today, but he shared his update with me. He says everything is green. There are a couple outstanding issues in Kube ADM, but since it's out of tree, it's being tracked outside of the KK repo. And I think he put a link there to those two.
Yeah. I don't know if anybody from Kube admin is here. If they are, we could ask for a quick update. But yeah, I see Lubomir and all of them tracking things very closely. So we should be good. I will follow up with them offline. Cool. Next up, CI Signal. Josh,
So,
welcome back.
hey, yeah, nice to be in a compatible time zone again. So CI Signal is looking better than it was last week, but we're not completely out of the woods yet. So a bunch of things have been resolved. Other things are close to resolved. And really, the main reason for not considering CI Signal completely green is just that we have a lot of flaky tests, including a lot of tests that are flakier now than they were a release cycle ago. And I would still judge, I haven't completed the chronic flakes chart, so I don't have the math on this yet, but I would still judge that we have, somewhere around a 50-50 chance that we will have a slate of flakes on the decision day for the release, which is my main worry there, right? Because, until you see a couple of run cycles, you can't tell the difference between a flake and an actual failure. And if that happens 3 days out from the release, not good. So a couple of the chronic flakes have PRs in progress to deflake them. The majority of them I don't think will be addressed within the 113 cycle, unfortunately. Simply because they need to be fixed by the same people who've got 18 other things to fix.
Yeah. But I think you had the flake spreadsheet, right? At least.
Yeah, it's just not fully populated.
Okay.
So I need to finish populating it and then apply some math to it to, see how frequently we can expect to get, a red test grid based on just having a bunch of flakes happen at the same time.
Yeah, especially those scale jobs like the one that we are seeing right now.
Yeah, I think there's something wrong. You notice I put that under blockers.
Okay.
Because given that the scalability jobs have been flaking more frequently than they did for 112, and having the 5K node job flake a few times, I think there's something wrong. I have not had a chance to look at the rest of SIG Scalability's test suite yet.
Okay.
By the way, one of the other things that we're discussing on test infra is whether we want to swap out some of those tests, because SIG Scalability is telling us that because of the run length, the 5K node test is never going to be not flaky. And if that's the case, then it's like, well, we shouldn't be using that as the blocking test then. So,
yeah. The 100 nodes one also was flaky earlier, but now
and that's why I'm regarding the 5K node, having 3 timeouts in a row as being more than a flake, because if the 100K node one is being jittery, then there's probably something wrong.
Okay. Yeah, I'll wait for the ongoing run right now, and then maybe we'll have to escalate this to Wojtek and see.
Although, actually, wait a minute. It looks like 100K node for 113 hasn't flaked in several days.
Yeah, it was super flaky before code freeze, like that week, the early last week, and then it's been pretty solid after that. After the last scheduler PR, the one that Bobby reverted, it's kind of been stable after that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that may come out of blockers in relatively short order if we get a clean run on that test.
Yep.
Let's see if we get a clean run on that test, because the failed run took 7 hours more than it's supposed to before timing out. So, okay.
The other quick question, I'll let you go through your update before I just
No, that's pretty much it. The rest of the stuff is on the notes. There actually aren't. There's a few failing test issues open, but most of those are non-blockers.
Okay.
They're either in non-blocking tests that we know are problematic,
Okay.
that are not considered blockers, or they're sort of long-term cleanup issues that are not conceivably going to get fixed for 113.
Yeah, Dawn kind of updated that the kubelet one is just the test. It's been one of the Docker nodes is running out of space. That kind of flaked that test. So she said that it's not a release blocker, though she's looking into it. The only other question was the entry volumes one. Again, it's a failure in the soak job. Any reason you put it in the non-blocker, Josh, versus?
Yes, because the soak job is not a blocking test job, and it's not a blocking test job because it's known to be problematic.
Okay, but even though it's consistently failing, we don't.
Well, no, we will raise issues around specific failures, but we won't block release based on it.
Okay.
It's, if you notice, it's in SIG release 113 all, not SIG release 113 blocking.
Yep.
And that's true for everything in all or in the future informing, right? Is that the idea that difference is we won't block release on those failures unless we have some other reason to block release.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I did raise it with Michelle just so that, yeah. It started failing only since last week. So that's what's.
No, I think it indicates something. The question is that something that it indicates an actual Kubernetes failure, or is it a problem with the test? And, the idea of the difference between blocking and non-blocking is the stuff that's in the jobs that are non-blocking should be tests where the probability of it being a problem with the test is relatively high. I don't know that that's necessarily 100% consistently true, but it's certainly true for SOAK GCE.
Okay. Yeah, that's good to know. Yeah, I just saw the failures yesterday. I didn't have time to track the history of those jobbing. Good. Cool.
Yeah, SOAK fails a lot. If you look at the history of it, it actually fails more often than it passes.
Cool.
Those individual failures are something new, so it's worth filing an issue. But again, non-blocking. So.
All right. Cool. Anything else you want to call out in CI before we move on?
No, that's about it. So I would say, old things close, new things open, etc. But we're about 50% down in terms of failures compared with last week.
Okay.
Which is pretty good. If we don't have any major new failures, I would say, our only real worry is badly timed flakes.
Cool. Awesome. Then we can move on to Bug Triage. Nico?
Hello.
Hello.
There are about 10 or so PRs plus. Most of them moved out on Friday. That was quite a busy day before code freeze. Lots of things got merged, and most of the remaining PRs are not really critical, though I have around 4 or 5 I'd like to discuss.
Sure.
Continuing from CI, this one seems to be fixing a flake and is close to merging.
I'm still opening. Yeah, I had a question on this one, if this is really critical. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be critical, but it seems to be fixing a flake, so it's I think it's good.
Okay, I see that there are still some changes requested on the PR itself. So I wasn't sure if it's even ready, or I did see some active discussions going on in that.
Yeah, it's a small comment that needs to be addressed by the SIG owner, Solstice.
I also see.
Let's wait on that, I guess.
Sorry. I see Jordan on the call, so I know he was also an active reviewer there. Jordan, we are talking about 70931. There's a link to that in the chat. Is there something, can you comment on how critical it is for 113?
I don't think it's critical for 113. If it's fixing a flake, then I would take it for that. But otherwise, I don't think it's critical.
Okay.
But I don't have full context on whether it was fixing a flake as well.
Yeah, I will let Nico, if it's okay with you, I'll let the owners comment, and then if there's a real reason, let's take it. If not,
yeah, they should know better.
Yes.
Another one is this one. Dims said that it should be in 113 as C advisor.
Okay.
Move to the same.
I see. Okay. Did he comment? Oh,
It's about in the middle, like third or fourth post.
Yes, the advisor needs it. Yeah. Okay. I was cool. This was on my list to follow up with both Ian and Mike, just to see what's the criticality again. I'll definitely follow up on that post burn down just to see if they don't reply on the PR itself.
All right. The rest, I guess, we can wait for others to reply.
Yeah.
They're fine.
Yeah. Just the reason I moved these out was, if there was no recent activity on that indicating the criticality, I thought it'd be better to keep it out, err on the side of keeping it out, and then wait for owners to reply why they really need it in 130.
Yeah, I mostly put the critical urgent. It didn't really mean that it's critical, but just to be on the merging side of things. But it's fine. Okay, that's me.
Cool. Thanks a lot for moving so many of those on Friday. That was a crazy day. So thank you. So next up, docs. Tim.
So docs aren't looking too good right now. Dropped the ball a little bit last week, so unfortunately, not doing too well. Today is the completed PR deadline, so we wanted all the PRs to be ready for review today, but only about half of them are ready for review.
Okay.
So there's kind of three problems with this. The first one is it's going to be tough to get all of those PRs completed and by the PR owners. And then we have a short time frame in order to review them and have them ready to be merged. And it's also over Thanksgiving. First of all, we've got the technical reviews, which in the past have been tough to following up to get people to do the technical reviews has taken some time in the past. And then approval from some of the SIG docs owners. And I think so there's a lot of following up that needs to be done in order to make sure that everything there goes quickly. I think I'd like to reach out to the potential reviewers and approvers before PRs are even ready for review, just to make sure they know, hey, you're down to review this. Will you be ready to review it once it's complete? So hopefully being a bit proactive there might be helpful.
Yeah.
But if anybody has any suggestions or is able to help in any other way, then we could definitely do it with the help.
Yeah. Do you have a list of these PRs that you want us to ping on, like in a doc or someplace where we can, maybe just divvy it up among ourselves?
Yes, absolutely. I can put a list together and stick it in the doc here afterwards in Slack once it's ready.
Yeah, even if you could group them by SIG, say all storage PRs together, and then different SIGs, and we can just divide it among ourselves and then make sure we target those SIGs.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'll create a list divided by SIGs.
Cool. And I also, I was thinking of sending a announcement on Kubernetes Dev later this week to say, hey, these are the failing tests if we didn't get attention. And these are the pending tasks. If you think it might help, I could send it out tomorrow if we still are not seeing response in these docs. just to say this is kind of becoming critical at this point.
Yeah, and also, whilst asking PR owners to actually complete their PRs, asking them to reach out to the people who will be reviewing and making sure that they're ready to review as well would be very useful, because I think we can get the PRs completed, but getting it all reviewed in time is going to be very tough.
Okay. Let's start with just put the list of the PRs, and then we can first pick them offline and then see how to escalate it further.
Okay, sure thing. So beyond that, still working on some doc generation stuff, talking to some SIGDocs people about how to do that properly and fix some things there. And then Jordan, do you want to speak about your PR here with regards to?
Actually, I just added it there just to bring your attention over the weekend. But yeah, Jordan, do you want to add anything or?
I don't see the screen share. I'm not sure which one we're talking about.
Oh, this is the docs PR you added about the SKU and upgrade versions. Let me bring it in.
Oh, that's not critical for the 1.13 release. That is an unrelated document that I thought SIG release would be interested in. So
yeah, but it's in the website, right? We could pull it in, right? Tim?
Oh yeah, I would actually like to see it be merged, hopefully by the time 1.13 is cut, so that we could mention it in the release notes. It's a very useful document to have. I'm shocked we don't already have it, but it's not release blocking in any way.
Cool. Yeah.
Sure thing. Yes, that's my update.
Awesome. Let me. Okay, release notes. I believe we have Dave.
Yeah, so release notes, about 40% of the SIGs have updated the major themes. I sent out a reminder on Friday and also pinged users. I just finished up pinging all SIG leads on Slack. So I think we'll be in a lot better shape by the end of the day tomorrow.
Awesome. Do you think you need any help from the release team to ping, or you guys have it under control?
No, I think we'll see a lot actually updated today. I've already got some feedback, so I think we'll be fine on that.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. And Josh, you had a call out about the CSI?
Yeah, we just picked up on a comment about some of the tests that the CSI 1.0 release, which will be in 1.13, is going to have backwards incompatibilities with 1.12. And I wanted to make sure that that was given sufficient intention in the release notes, and that somewhere there's a discussion of what this is going to materially mean for users.
Yeah. I listed, so there's the GitHub known issue. So I made a note of that in there so that it gets to Mike and Dave's attention. But I haven't picked up on the discussion of where this discussion was actually had and what it actually means to the user and what the sign-offs were.
Yeah. It's the first I've heard of it, which I suppose is the upgrade test doing their job, because they broke an upgrade test, which is how we know about it.
Yes.
But yeah, but I don't really, breaking backwards compatibility should be something that's a strategic decision for the project. So I don't know. I don't know where that discussion happened.
Yeah, it's on my list to follow up with Saad right away after the went down, because I remember in one of the PRs there was a discussion, but I thought it was just something related to the test versus the whole feature itself. So I will follow up with him right after this to see where the discussion is and where the sign-offs happened. Okay. Cool. And finally, comms. Caitlin? Okay.
Yeah. So we lost a little bit of time last week due to travel. So I am aiming to have the blog post out to review by end of day today, along with the media FAQ, and then that should put us in good shape to have that finalized by end of week to start pitching early next week.
Cool. All right. Yeah, I'll just watch out for those emails from you. And if you don't see me reply to those like in a day or two, just ping me. I'll be on top of it.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. So are there any other questions before we go on to a couple of announcements? Okay, the main one was, so this Thursday, Friday is the US holiday for Thanksgiving. So I don't expect, my plan was to cancel the burn down for Thursday and Friday, considering we're still in a stable shape for the release itself. But if non-US release team members, if you rather that we meet at least one of those days, I'm more than flexible to have a burn down on Friday. We could also do an earlier time. So I just wanted to hear if there's consensus to having a meeting on Friday. Anybody wants one? Okay, unless there's no, unless there's no consensus or like resounding need to have one, then I will go ahead and cancel the ones for Thursday and Friday. If something bubbles up and needs us to scramble, then probably I'll send out a note just for the non-US folks. If not, I'll go ahead and cancel the Thursday and Friday one. And GitHub issue for 1.14 release, yeah, it's still up. We've had a lot of traffic there. I brought up, the question I had here was mainly for Josh and Stephen if they're around. I see we have a SIG release meeting tomorrow. So I put the 1.14 release team nomination there for discussion, but are you guys going to be there, especially Josh? I don't, if there's not going to be active participation in SIG release tomorrow, then the next meeting that we can bring this up is the 4th of December, which is a little too late for 1.14.
Yeah, no, I think we should do it tomorrow.
Okay.
I agree.
Hey, Tim, I didn't know you were on the call. Hi.
I'll poke
Cool.
Steven and make sure that he's planning on being there too.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, we had the nomination itself, and also for the shadows, we wanted to discuss about the informal selection process and the 9 things out there. Awesome. Then I leave it on the agenda for tomorrow. And then the 1.13 retro, yeah, the doc is up, still scheduled for December 6th. So feel free to add your feedback, suggestions. Yeah. So that's it. We are almost on time. Any other last minute questions, comments? Cool. If not, with 1 minute to spare, have a happy Monday all, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Happy Monday.